to planning and goals, right? We're going to talk about getting specific and how that relates to your money. So hold on tight. Here we go. Into this. Getting specific. Okay. So today we want to talk about getting specific. Oh, I gotta share my screen. Okay. There we go. Okay, so today we are talking about getting specific, goals and planning. And now a lot of times it's hard to understand how your goals relate to your money, right? But if you start to look at things and talk to people and grow your business, you will find that the conversation that often comes up is, what are your goals? If you work with a business coach, you know the first thing they're going to ask you is, what are your goals? If you talk to businesses, business owners, millionaires, multimillionaires, if you read their books, they're going to talk about their goals at some point in their thing. I can almost guarantee it. So, what is this thing about getting specific and talking about your goals? That's what we're going to talk about today, because we want businesses to be successful and profitable and continuing and ongoing. And that means that you need to take some time and get into this. So, first, let's talk about, what are they? What in the world are goals? Because there's lots of definitions, right, or thoughts of what they are. But when we are talking about goals, what exactly are we talking about? We want to talk about goals, SMART goals. So, SMART goals are goals that are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they're bound. Time bomb. I guess it could be a time bomb if you know, like, really want to set it off. But anyway, so they're SMART goals. We're talking about SMART goals. We're talking about specific goals that are going to be something that you can gauge and that you can achieve and that are relevant to what you're trying to accomplish and that have a deadline. And so the deadlines that are put on SMART goals can be various. They can be in this day, in this week, in this month, in this year, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years. But that's the thing. With your goals, you need to have multiple different types of goals, and you need to revisit those goals often. So let's talk about when you would use these. You can use these in pretty much any area of your life. Are you trying to grow as a person? Are you trying to grow your business? Are you trying to accomplish things with your kids? Are you trying to create different things in your house, revamp your house? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to gain weight? Are you trying to be healthier? Are you trying to be more creative? Are you trying to take a trip? Are you trying to travel more? Are you trying to do X, Y, and Z? You can pretty much use SMART goals for every area of your life. And the important thing is that when you use SMART goals, they really help drive you to that next level of life and whatever that might be for you. So let's talk about when you would use them. Anytime, right? Anytime. You can start today. So that's the benefit of this. In fact, if you have some paper nearby, I encourage you to grab some paper and let's talk about setting some goals. Okay, setting some planning goals that are going to move your money forward, because that is what we want to ultimately get to. We want to accomplish things in our life, and we're going to do it. So let's do it now. We're going to focus right now on goals related to money, because those goals are very important. And whatever goals you have, and usually the recommendation is that you have 4 goals for each period of time. So you should have 4 annual goals, 4 quarterly goals, 4 weekly goals, 4 monthly goals, 4 daily goals. So have 4 goals that you can accomplish, you know, in those every single period of time. And you should have a goal for each one. And then we're going to break those down. So typically what is recommended when you do goal setting is that you start from where you want to finish. Start from what the ending point is that you want to go. So that's where we start big. We talk about 5-year goals. Where do you want your business to be in 5 years? What does that look like? Where do you want to be for this year? If 5 years is too much, do just this year. In the next 12 months, where do you want your business to be? What do you want that to look like? And now these aren't things that are going to be, in place where they're not something that you can accomplish, but that's something that you can work up to, because setting SMART goals is actually a skill. You might not have known that either. It's actually a skill that you have to develop and learn and get better at. It's a skill that can really help you get your business to the next level. So we are going to start today by just setting one goal. Okay, so get your piece of paper out. I have a notepad. Get your piece of paper out, and we're going to just talk about how to make these specific. So if you're, for example, your goal in the next 12 months is to make more money, right? Because that should pretty much be in all of our goals. But instead of you saying, I want to make more money, we need to make it specific. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to make an additional $2,000 in new sales. So not just recurring sales, but in brand new sales from new customers, from new clients, whatever it might be. I want to make an additional $2,000 in new sales. So that is going to be my annual goal. So my annual goal is $2,000. But in order for me to be able to get to that point, I got to break those goals down into smaller pieces. So what is my quarterly goal going to look like? I'm going to sell 10 of my highest revenue products, because if I sell 10 of that product, that means that I had to sell 20 of them to get to 2,000. So I know that I can sell 20 of my highest revenue products or service within that amount of time in that year. Okay, so from there, what needs to happen for you to be able to sell those 20 highest pieces of revenue? So break it down further. Well, I'm going to have to set up, well, I know I can get, usually I know that my closing rate is like 50%. So in order for me to get 20 new sales in a year, that means I probably am going to have at least 40 meetings in order to get to that point. So 40 meetings with my ideal client over the course of a year, right? So those are my breakdown. So that means every quarter, I have to get my calculator. Oh no, okay, there's 4 quarters, so 10. So that means I have to have at least 10 meetings every quarter. Okay, so you see how your numbers and your money relate to this kind of stuff? You need to have 10 meetings set up every quarter in order to do that. Well, okay, there's 10. That means that I need to have at least 3 in every month. So that's how we make those goals measurable, by breaking down the numbers, because those money goals are very important to moving your business forward, because your business can't thrive if it's not making money. Sales come and go, right? It's always an ebb and a flow. So that means that you always got to be, working on some kind of thing that's going to be marketable or sellable for your business. And so when you break these numbers down like this, it gives you targets that are smaller. And that's really what we want, because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves or make it too unrealistic. You want it to be realistic. Well, 10 meetings every quarter, three new meetings every month. That's doable, right? That means 1 a week. That's not too bad. So then you make those goals and make them measurable like this, and then it can bring you to the next level of where you want your business to be. Same thing if your goal is to save money, because in order to get out of, the cycle of month to month, businesses, oftentimes the way to break that cycle is to save monthly. So we want to make sure that we're saving money so that our business has money so that it can continue to grow. If you don't have funds, if anything, COVID has shown us the importance of making sure that you're prepared for anything. And the best way to do that, especially when it comes to business, is by having money put aside. So we want to talk about saving as much as we want to talk about making, right? And as we talked about yesterday, just because you're making money and you're selling items and services doesn't necessarily mean that you have enough money to save. So one really great way to start by doing this and accomplishing your money goals is to figure out what you want to save and break it down into smaller numbers. And that's where goals and planning come in, because that's where that stuff can really get accomplished. One other thing too that I don't have on my slides, but that I want to mention is if you are planning on hiring somebody, or if you're planning on, getting a new service, or let's say you want to hire a marketing team, figure out, like, talk to them or figure out how much you're going to be paying that person and break it down. So, like, that if you hire this person or if you start using this service, it's going to cost you, $200, $300, $400 a month. Start putting that money away as if you already hired them, but don't hire them, and see how it affects your business. Because then instead of you making that commitment and hiring that person ahead of time, you have a tangible way of seeing how that affects your business and what it's going to affect your cash flow like. And so then you also build up a savings in that same point, so that even if you hire that person or you start that service, you have, a couple of months worth of their fees or their payroll saved already. But then on top of that, you want to have that money saved as well. So really start breaking down your goals into numbers. Break them down into numbers so that you can attach that goal to what it's going to look like financially, because so much of what our business does and how it operates comes back to our numbers, which is why we're digging into this. But first, we have to have something to go off of there. And that's why it's important when it comes to your business to break those numbers down into financial implications. How much is this going to create in sales? If you have to hire, a marketing firm, make a goal with that. Get X amount of new followers, or get X amount of engagement, or get X amount of sales specifically off of that. And that's where we start talking about KPIs, which are your key performance indicators. You can do that with pretty much every area of your business, but it all goes back to your numbers. And so digging into those kind of things is really important to the growth of your business as well. So when it comes to saving money, one thing that I encourage people to do, in addition to making goals that have to do with numbers, is if you are just kind of starting and you're trying to get out of the month-to-month cycle, start saving like 1% of your sales. Do it every month, put it in an account you can't have easy access to, and just put it away and start from there. And then that over time, like, you'd be surprised as to how quickly that builds up, but start doing that. All right, so let's review. Okay, so once you figure out your goals and how they're going to affect you and how you can put numbers on your goals so that you can start figuring them out and using them in a real tangible way, right? Because money is tangible. Goals that are surrounded or mixed up with your finances are tangible goals that you can actually see, feel, and touch. And that's the best way to do goals, because it is tangible. And that's the best way that can keep you moving forward on the path that you're going. So when you're done figuring that out, or as you're starting to figure that out, as you're thinking about what goals to create, the first thing you want to do is write it down. Write it down so that it's on paper, and then you can manipulate it, right? Because then you can erase it or cross it out or figure it out again. Write it down. Make sure that there's some way that you can be accountable to it. Make sure that you start small too, okay? Because we don't want to get overwhelmed. As a matter of fact, I was on my coaching call today with Action Coach and our collaborative coaching program. And Todd Root, who's our coach, said that you don't want to make massive changes because massive change doesn't stick. And I thought that was really powerful, because it's very true, right? If you try to change too much at one time, most likely you're going to get overwhelmed and stop. And we don't want that to happen. We want your business to be successful. We want you to keep moving forward. So make sure you write it down, keep it accountable, but start small. And then review and change or adjust your goals frequently. So I would really encourage you, and this is a practice that, in all honesty, I'm still working on sticking to 100%. Like, I'm probably at like 80%, which is way better than when I first started my business, or even the last few years, which it was probably like 30 to 0%. So I'm about at 80% when I do this, but every time I do it and every time I make it a habit, it really does help. And so, like, I'm always like in the process of getting better at this myself. So don't feel like you have to have this perfect. It really is a process, but you want to make sure that you are writing down your goals. Like, I actually just started doing an accountability thing with one of my friends, and we're both business owners and we both have similar things going on in our lives. And so, we decided that we were going to keep each other accountable. We keep each other accountable for three different things a week. So we say 3 things that we're going to get done by the time we talk again. And we are holding each other accountable to that. So even if you have to just do that, do that. But I would encourage you to at least, bare minimum, make weekly goals for yourself and tie it back to something financial, because that is tangible for you. It's something that you can see and feel. And if you are struggling with your money and money is tight, then get a budget together to help with that process as well, because that in and of itself is a different process as well, which we are going to go a little bit more into tomorrow. But today, I really wanted to just encourage you to get your goals and your plans together, get specific about it, and get specifically to your money with it, because like I said, it's tangible. It's something that you can touch and feel. And the more that you can plan and set goals for yourself, the more you will drive you forward. Because if you don't have any kind of a direction to go with your business or your life, then you're not going to really go anywhere, or it's going to be real sporadic. As a business owner, we have to know what our why is. We have to know what we're doing, and we have to have a plan for how we're going to accomplish that. And that is where goals and planning come in. And if you can do this, guys, if you can do this and be committed to it and stick with it and be disciplined, you can grow a really amazing and awesome lifelong business. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We want to have businesses that are sustainable, because businesses that are sustainable provide for our families and they create good communities and they change our future. So I'm excited to see what your goals are. If you have goals, or if you watch this video and you put together a goal, drop your goal in the comments section. I can't wait to see all of your goals written out, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.